Long before Marvel took the cinematic concept of a multiverse down the predictable route of nostalgia bait, endless cameos, and the end of any sense of finality, there was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This 2018 animated film swung us into a version of the multiverse that was filled with the dazzling promise of possibility, instead of the threat of never-ending corporate IP churn. While spanning whole new universes, it also gave us a heartfelt, intimate story, in which unique versions of the same hero banded together over their shared grief and loss. It was a tale of growing up and growing old, of who you're supposed to be and who you should have been all along. In an era of unimaginative superhero saturation, if any movie was going to fight back against the idea of what a standard superhero story should be, the ambitious and unrestrained sequel Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was always going to be the one. In this sequel, teenager Miles Morales, voiced by Shameik Moore, is struggling to balance being the perfect student and a good son with the demands of his crime-fighting alter ego. Meanwhile, in another universe, Gwen Stacy, voiced by Hailee Steinfeld, has teamed up with the Spider Society to clean up the aftermath of the Collider incident in the previous movie. She, Spider-Man 2099, voiced by Oscar Isaac, and Spider-Woman, voiced by Issa Rae, capture characters stranded in the wrong universe and send them home again. Like its predecessor, Across the Spider-Verse is beautifully shot and strikingly composed, with the kind of head-spinning, world-tilting sequences that are only possible in animation. It isn't just that the vibrant colors pop off the screen, or that the varied animated styles contrast and play off each other exquisitely. It's also little textural details that make the film such an immersive experience. A shot of Miles and Gwen perched atop a building upside down, the city skyline inverted behind them, offers a stunning moment of serenity amid the film's frantic energy. Like the first movie, a sense of loss permeates this one too. Miles misses his uncle Aaron and his multiversal friends, all of whom have returned to their own dimensions. Gwen is still reeling from the death of the Peter Parker from her universe. While Miles isn't certain his parents will accept his alter ego, Gwen knows that her dad won't. Even so, writers Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and David Callahan cut through the tragedy with a sense of humor. It ranges from sharp observations about cliched third world country tourism trips to juvenile jokes that will still make you giggle. The zingers fly fast, especially during the action sequences, and it's a delight to watch the film marry its punches with its punchlines.
And then I looked at my uncle and...
let me guess. He died?
Across the Spider-Verse builds on the first movie in meaningful ways, but it also spins a larger and much messier web this time. When the movie moves from its protagonist's personal problems to larger fate of the world stakes, it gets more convoluted and harder to follow. Despite its universe-sprawling shenanigans, this is a movie that's still at its best when it focuses on just two characters having a conversation. What's important to them here and now is much more compelling than the promise of what the future in a different universe might hold. There are times the excess begins to get overwhelming, and the film's 2-hour, 20-minute runtime is felt. There are cameos and callbacks to other movies, which feels like this movie tiredly giving in to the same trend it had so far subverted. There aren't any nifty needle drops like in the first movie. Remember that What's Up Danger sequence? And the film's abrupt cliffhanger ending makes Across the Spider-Verse feel like a launchpad for future adventures, rather than a fulfilling journey in its own right. Still, the film refuses to adhere to the idea that every hero's journey must follow the same arc. In doing so, it insists on breaking the canon at a time when other superhero movies are trying to establish it. Where the multiverse represents the exhaustion of infinite variation in other franchises, in Across the Spider-Verse, it's a comfort. These many stories continually remind the characters and us that we're not alone. And someday, somewhere, there will be a story we can see ourselves in.